To prepare us even further for this protest and the shredding of the bill, I have asked Representative Tom Emmer to come and talk to us about his perspective.
Thank you all for being here. I'm going to get rid of this because the echo just doesn't work. I want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy day, taking time away from your jobs and your families to come down to this great place in St. Paul, this temple to bureaucrats and elected officials. Thank you. I also want to say thank you to Twyla and the Citizens Council on Healthcare for arranging this. Thank you very much. Thank you all for taking part in something that's so important. You know, they'll probably give us all a hard time today and say, well, there were only a handful of people who showed up, so they don't care. That's not true. This is only a small measure of the people that are out there that are saying no. They do not want a government takeover of their healthcare system. Say, let's acknowledge something right away. Let's acknowledge something that they've been spreading outside these walls for weeks and months and even years now. They've tried to tell us that we do not have the best health care the world has to offer in the state of Minnesota. We do have the best health care that the world has to offer right here in the state of Minnesota. We have some of the greatest physicians the world has ever seen. There is a reason why Saudi sheiks fly into the state of Minnesota to get their care here, because we have the greatest quality the world has ever known. Now let's make sure they understand. Let's make sure they understand before we talk about this government takeover of our healthcare system, that we understand that despite having the greatest health care the world has to offer, we still have some work to do. There's no question that there's an issue with cost that must be addressed, but it's not addressed by having government take over the entire system and destroy the quality that we have. If you are one of the millions who can't afford health care, yes, we agree. There are some things that we must do, correct? We've talked about it. We can give people the same opportunity to deduct their health care insurance premiums that we currently only allow to employers. We need to eliminate all the mandates. We have 68 of them here in the state of Minnesota. Yes, each one of them is important to someone, but they add cost to everyone. And then finally, why don't we start getting the people inside this building and the people in Washington to trust the citizens again? Let us shop for our health care insurance across state borders. I think it's time that you and I, Twyla and her organization, that you and I start to tell government there is a bigger crisis that you have now created. If you are going to put a bureaucrat in between us and our doctor, you have created a healthcare crisis that has to be stopped. If you and I must now wait weeks and months to get the health care that we need, that is a crisis and we must not tolerate it. We must say no to Obamacare for many different reasons, but number one is an issue of freedom. When the government controls your health care, they control you. Now, before they go out and they try to tell you that this is exactly what you need, remember, they pat you on the head and they tell you, listen, we know what's best for you. Why don't they start listening to us, and why don't they start looking at what they created? What did they create? I'll tell you what they created. They've got a surtax on individuals earning at least $280,000 in adjusted gross income and couples earning more than $350,000, half of which will be collected from small businesses in this state and all across this country. And that's right. I'll tell you what. Cuts in Medicare spending, just as 60 million plus people, baby boomers, are reaching a time when they're going to need it. They're cutting the benefits that they need. The list goes on and on and on. This is not the answer to our health care crisis in this country. This is the crisis in our country. It is time that they start to listen. Do me a favor and do my kids a favor and yours today. Not only make your voices be heard, but let's start to tell our Attorney General in this state that it's time you start to represent the citizens of the state of Minnesota and not the bureaucrats and the Washington cronies that you have. Let's start representing the state of Minnesota.